episode 6 of the BoomBastiCAST.
BoomBastiCAST!
This episode will be recapping our visit to the gathering of the Juggalos. So we'll hop right into it. Okay. The gathering of the Juggalos, 2019, the 20th annual, in Springville, Indiana.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was fun. It was a good hike out there. Very early leaving.
Yeah, we left. It was 6:30 in the morning when we had to be on the plane. Yeah, that day.
Yeah, it was good.
Very early.
It was good. We went by all types of transportation, right?
Yeah. We took the plane to Indianapolis, and then we took a bus to Bloomington, Indiana, which I think it's Indiana University. I think it was a college town.
Yeah.
We got out of there, and then we took a lift from Bloomington all the way to Springville.
Yeah. But it was good times.
Yeah,
product
good times.
placement. Yeah. So yeah, we I've been a big fan of ICP since like 8th grade. Yeah. Hawk has been coming into
he has brought me into the ICP family, and I have to say I really enjoyed the music, and I had a lot of fun at the gathering. It was great experience.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
We'll kick into some more details. Okay. So we got there. It was nice. We brought in Rob, Bruce, Violent J's brother, is kind of the guy that brought us into it. You know, we talked to him a while back about doing a DCG con, which was like a gaming con, but they canceled it the year of. So we got moved into this type deal. But yeah, it was the Shimmer Forest was the name of it that they were giving it, but I don't exactly know what the name. I don't think that was the name of the actual campground, but all those people were really cool. It was a big grounds. We were lucky enough that when we finally got to our place.
Yeah, it was a nice leisurely walk.
It was very healthy. We call it a healthy walk.
It was a healthy walk. I have to admit that I do think I lost 10 pounds on that walk. I think most of it was water weight.
It was the borderline unhealthy. It was the healthy walk that reaches, the borderline of being an unhealthy walk.
Yeah.
And it was hot. In Indiana, it was very hot. The airport had a nice layout of the race cars, which was nice. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. So we arrived and we got to our booth, and it was nice to see that the merch bazaar that we were at was located right in front of, rather, so you could see the main stage.
Oh, yeah.
So that was cool. It took a step outside the tent, and you could kind of see everything that was going on.
Yeah, so it was great. So while we were, of course, there doing our thing, we could listen to all the acts, and everyone was going in and out to see the acts also, so there was a lot of great foot traffic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. We're wearing our charms.
Yeah. We
got our big super villain, John. It was the super gathering.
Yeah.
20th. We were located next to some really good artists on both sides of us.
Oh yeah.
We the shirt the Hawkman's wearing, that Mikey Boneroad, and his buddy Noah were there.
Yeah. Woo!
Doing it nice.
Mike. Yeah.
And then we have Barbara French was on the other side.
Yeah. She did this very cool painting. This is Buffy, the Scooby-Doo Slayer, which I saw that. I just love it. Being a huge fan of not only Buffy, but also Scooby-Doo. And, you got Sarah Michelle Gellar playing both roles, so I thought this was a great mashup. She's very talented. Really love her work.
Yeah, she does really great mashups.
Yeah, I got that.
And then Ashley Wiley was with her.
Yeah.
She does really cool, marble texture.
Yeah, she did this pillow, which I gotta say is extremely cool.
Yes.
Definitely recommend checking it out.
We'll put links in the description.
In the description.
Of the video.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was our station. It was cool. We were right by where like the bands had all their merch and stuff, which was cool. So I remember like we had Bone Thugs at Harmony's people were next to us for a little bit.
Yeah.
What was it? Morris Day and the Time. Their
Oh
people were
yeah.
next to us for a little bit. Yeah, Vinny Paz and Jedi Mind Tricks people were close. It was cool. That was a cool element to it.
Yeah.
A lot of cool artists were there. There was this Hill of Death that was everybody was talking about. The grounds were so huge. That was like the thing with it. So like,
well, I mean, the thing is that the Hill of Death, which Matt brought up, was, well, we had the main stage in front of us. Okay. We also they had another stage which was down this huge hill, and the thing is that, I mean, if it was any steeper, it'd be like totally comical, because I mean it of course easier going down, but hiking it up, especially in the Indiana heat, I mean that was murder. Everyone was cursing out that road.
It became notorious real quickly.
Yeah.
Going down, it wasn't a big issue. You just have to worry about kind of your feet sliding out. But going up it was like a lot on the legs. You would have to like take a break, because your leg was just your ankle was at such a weird angle. You know what I mean? Climbing it, so you get to a point where it's just starting to lock up, which is the worst.
Yeah.
The worst.
The worst ever.
So yeah, we went down there a few times. I know we went down there to see Gilbert. See Gilbert Gottfried.
I gotta say,
stand up, yeah.
That was, I have to admit, that was the big thing for me, because I've always enjoyed Gilbert Gottfried, and it was a great opportunity to actually finally see him, in person, doing his stand up routine. I mean, unfortunately, we didn't get to actually meet him afterwards, so he had to go. But it was a lot of fun sitting there, listening to his jokes in his own style.
Yeah.
But the best thing has to be was everyone in the audience started chanting "fuck Affleck."
Yeah.
As a comment to Gilbert Gottfried used to work for Affleck as the voice of the what is it, goose, duck?
The duck, yeah.
The duck.
Right, yeah.
So we started chanting that, and Gilbert loved that. That, like halfway through, he says, "Hey, can we do fuck Affleck again?"
Yeah. Well, he had to follow with that with Affleck.
Oh yeah.
Because of his joke.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I don't remember what the exact joke was. But
I remember it vaguely.
Yeah, he made a. It was after
the tsunami.
Yeah,
and there was a joke about like how you don't worry about losing women because there'll be another one floating by anytime soon or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
And of course he put on Twitter, and then Affleck fired him like the next day.
He retweeted a Boombastic tweet.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or his page did. Well, because we talked about how good he was.
Oh, yeah.
So at the gathering, so he retweeted it. Little praise. He liked it. It was funny. I got to see him do, and you didn't. You get to see him as well, I guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was
there. That makes sense.
I was there.
We got to see him doing the Seinfeld, which was really good, and he did Dice. The Dice one was really good because he's so over the top with it. He really knows which elements to push.
Yeah, I mean it was a lot of fun, and like I said, it's a once in a lifetime experience seeing, especially since I don't know how old he is, but he's
getting up there. Yeah.
He's getting up there, and it took him a while to get on the stage, so it's obvious that
Well, that he just likes to move that way.
Oh,
he does it for the fans.
Oh, it's for the fans.
They like that, okay. Yeah. But the guy who opened up for him was really funny too.
Yeah,
which was nice.
Yeah. It's always good when you have like a warm up comedian that's also funny.
Yeah. I've been saying forever I want to go see some stand up. Cause I've seen like smaller people do stand up, but I've never seen like a person who's famous for it do stand up. I was glad that it could have been the Gilbeat.
Yeah,
it was good. I was hoping to pick up his documentary. I really want to see that documentary about him.
Oh, he has a documentary.
Yeah,
What's the name of it?
Gilbert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it's,
well, I should be able to find it then.
I heard it's really good. Yeah. I listened to his podcast too.
Yeah.
It's really, really funny.
Oh, cool.
But any stand up. We also went to go see the Big Money Hustlers screening down there. That was really cool.
That's a lot of fun. They had a very Rocky Horror Picture Show kind of vibe.
Yeah, it was the right audience for it.
Yeah.
I remember you watched that not too long ago.
Oh yeah. I watched it with you. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And now they did that. They also did another one, right? Which was like a Wild West thing.
Yeah, Big Money Rustlers.
Yeah.
So Hustlers and Rustlers.
Yeah.
There's talks of a third one they want to do.
Yeah.
Which
would be cool, yeah, because they're a lot of fun. They have a lot of great cameos, and if you like the ICP music, you like the whole culture. It's definitely a lot of fun to sit down and watch and just let your cares go away and just laugh your ass off.
Yeah. There was another stage down there called Cannibal's House. Which is like where some people perform. We didn't get to see too many people perform there because we were kind of at the booth. But that was based off of a Juggalo that actually died recently. So like it was a tribute to him. I guess he was trying to like save some lady and her kid from getting like mugged, and he got stabbed and died. So rest in peace to him. Yeah. But it was cool. That's one of the things about the Juggalo world is that everybody's kind of connected. So like you'd see a stage in tribute. To somebody like that at the gathering, which was cool.
Yeah, and the thing is that one of the best experiences being someone who's new to the whole Juggalo experience is that everyone there. I'm not saying that everyone were perfect, but everyone I dealt with really seemed to have a great welcoming attitude. They didn't know who we were. We didn't know who they were, but they come up, they talk to us. We find things that we liked and talked about, and people liked, even if they didn't pick anything up, they just liked the fact that we were out there. We were pushing art. That was a big thing about the whole weekend, is that while it was a music festival, it was also an art festival.
Mm-hmm.
You had paintings, you had T-shirts, you got artwork of all kinds, and that's the great thing. It's probably the only place I can think of that really welcomed the idea of what it was to be an artist, whether it, like I said, paintings or music, or in our case, filmmaking.
Did you see Tom Wood's booth up at the corner? He was doing like the really realistic.
The Juggalo paintings.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yeah,
those are really cool.
Oh yeah.
He was a nice guy.
But yeah, it's and it was a lot of fun, and everyone was welcoming, and I didn't, and it was always it was great, the fact that everyone was so laid back, and there was no egos. There was no one going to say, "Hey, I'm better than you," which is a nice change.
Usually, you're telling everybody you're better than them.
Well, that's because I am. But
wow.
Yeah, but okay. Since that experience, I've toned down my egocentric ways.
Well, that's nice of you.
Yeah, just for him and make him feel better.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
we I think I went to go see ICP's Strums and Drums set down there too, which was like an acoustic set, which was fun. They told a lot of stories in between. It was like a campfire set up, and they had the guitar, and it was Jay and Shaggy, and there was another gentleman up there with them singing. They were telling stories. They were telling stories about Bushwick Bill, because he just recently passed, and the Ghetto Boys were performing at the gathering, which we'll get into a little later, and that was a really great show. We Bushwick Bill's son came by the booth.
Yeah.
Which was cool. We gave him some DVDs and got to meet him, got a picture with him and stuff. But yeah, I think that's all I can think of right now for the bottom of the hill. Maybe something will come to me later.
Wait, there was you went down to the hill to see I forget the name of the group, but they were kind of Transformer like.
Oh yeah. That was before the drums and strums
Yeah.
set. Yeah, they were. The name escapes me right now what they're called, but they were really cool. And yeah, it was like a take on the Transformers gimmick where they did music from the '80s movie
Yeah.
and they dressed the part and the costumes were really good. When they first come out, it was like weird because they you're just not
Yeah.
used to seeing that, you know what I mean? And they jammed pretty hard. It was good. It was a good show. I'm sure they'll be back. I know Rob was a big fan of them. We'll put their name in the bottom too. All right, cool beans. I think that was it for the bottom of the hill. Do you remember anything else?
No, not really.
Okay, well, we'll.
Okay.
I know I tried to go find. There was a couple little parties that were going on that I tried to go down and find where they were giving out like the meals, the free food, the
Yeah.
free food stuff.
You
'Cause
gotta
food
love
got
it
a
when.
little pricey over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny talking about food. I actually had my first experience eating gator.
Really?
Yep. At one of
I
the
didn't even know that.
I told
Did you
you.
tell me? Oh,
Yes, I told you when
I
I
must
came
have been
back.
caught up in the gathering
Yeah.
spirit.
Well, anyway,
Yeah.
I forget. I mean, it was pricey because I mean he didn't
If you
have a.
want real gator, you gotta pay for it.
Yeah, it was $14
Really?
for a gator on the stick. He gave it to me, and I gotta say it was interesting because whenever you talk to people eating different types of meat, the first thing anyone tells you is it tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about the gator I had, it actually tasted more like fish, I thought.
Okay.
And it was very oily, very greasy. So that was an interesting experience. The first time I've ever had gator, and of course it's too expensive to have it on a regular basis, especially at $14 a pop.
Well, it's probably like cheap if you were to buy it.
That's true.
I don't know where you'd get it though, because you can't get it at your typical grocery store.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that probably like in Florida, where you have alligator farms
I know you can farm your own gators in the backyard.
In the
And then you can
sewers.
just, yeah, I guess you can do that.
Hey! I mean, then you put in the sewers. They eat like
Just
radioactive.
think of all the boots you make boots down here if you start farming gators.
Hey, leather boots.
Well,
Can't go wrong with that. See, that's great.
A new outlet for money for the Hawkman.
Hey, BoomBastiCAST gator shoes.
I'd wear those. Get a gator hat going. I'd feel like the meal of choice at the gathering was the classic $7 foot long corn dog. They had those bowls. You got one. I got the bowl once actually. Remember, you got the bowl that was like that was a gathering. Gathering delicacy.
Yeah, it was like the Stoner Bowl.
Stoner Bowl, yeah. And it was like steak and cheese, rice, I think.
Yeah.
It was a mixture of everything that was floating around, I guess. That was good.
Yeah.
And
they had some great pulled pork.
Yeah.
I gotta say one thing about now, whether it's at all gatherings or whether the fact that it was a gathering in Indiana, there's one thing you did have to worry about eating there, and that is like your cholesterol, because they put like gravy on everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff I had, they put a lot of gravy on. But it was all good. It was a lot of fun. It was a nice change. I mean, it was my first time to Indiana, and I have to say, I mean, in recent years, I've been starting to get out of Mass and going to different states, and it was a nice experience. Going to a different place.
Yeah, Indiana was nice. I think they're going back next year. I think. Should be cool to attend.
Cool. Definitely.
So we'll talk about some of the music that performed, since we're so close to the stage. I know the first band that went off was the CNC Music Factory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To pump up the music there. What was it? Everybody Dance Now type.
Oh
Jam.
yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah. That was it was nice to see that live. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That was cool. That was the fun thing. Another fun thing about the gathering is that you get to such like a selection of music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just like rappers. You know what I mean? Like ICP, stuff like that. People who sound like them. It was a good mixture, good variety of stuff. As we'll talk about now. Rehab played there as well, which was I believe they had a couple of hits. I think they were on. There were some radio hits. It was like a band. They were pretty good. I stepped out a little bit to see them. There was Ouija Mac performed. That was a good time. He's like a newer age, like Juggalo rapper.
Yeah.
Ritz rapper. I've heard a lot of good things about him. He had a good set. People were really digging him a lot. And after that, we had Morris Day and The Time.
Oh yeah,
which was a really great show. I definitely want to make a point to say that show, like, and for a band that's older, they didn't miss a beat. They went pretty hard and heavy, and kept going, and from beginning to end, the audience was up loving it, which was great. They closed up. It was all synchronized. They closed up the show with like doing this big move with the coat over him and stuff that it was just kind of perfectly timed. And yeah, that was really cool. And then after them, the world famous Guar, which Dave Brocky's birthday, who passed away a couple years ago, rest in peace. I think his birthday's today or yesterday or something like that. I've seen some things floating around the Facebook. I got banned from the Facebook recently. They're trying to shut us down. Yeah, but so from that day, do you remember any? We won't go too deep into it. YouTube will come after us. Out of those bands, which ones did you enjoy that day? That first day, which was what, Wednesday? I think was the first day that they started doing music.
Yeah.
We got there on Tuesday.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, music-wise, I was a big fan of Morris Day and The Time.
Mm-hmm.
That was my favorite band that played there.
Yeah.
I have to say, I spent a lot of time at the booth, selling our stuff and walking around. I gotta say, the big love for me was going to the other merchants.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like we talked about, Mike Boneroad next door, and Barbara French, and all just going around seeing everything the creativity.
Right.
I just love seeing creative people, talking to them, seeing what they're putting out, and also another thing that's a lot of fun about the experience being at the gathering was anyone who's a wrestling fan. They had a lot of great wrestling bouts, and it was a lot of fun watching that.
Yeah, Madman Pondo, JCW legend, came by the booth. He got some DVDs, and then some girls that were with him, some female wrestlers, came by and gave him some posters because his birthday. They wanted to give him something cool to say thank you because he was real good to them, I guess, throughout the weekend. The wrestling was really cool. They were the Supermania, I think that's what they were calling it, to go with the Super theme. They had a really cool, it was a JCW, which is ICP's Wrestling Federation, versus ECW, which was really cool. They brought some legends in. They brought the Sandman in. Who's like, he's probably, I think the Sandman originated Stone Cold Steve Austin's persona of the beer swinging, badass guy. I think he was kind of the dude who originally did that, and then WWF/WWE now is kind of took it and ran with it, and more mainstreamanized it. I just made up a word, but did that.
Only Matt can pull that off.
I'm trying to think. I think Tommy Dreamer was also there.
Yeah.
The Boogie. No, I don't think Boogeyman was there. Oh, and Shane Douglas was up in there, which he was cool. Sabu was in there. It was a really cool event. And then the main event of the wrestling thing was Violent J versus the Rude Boy. You know,
Yeah,
longtime friends. Good. Rude Boy is, you know, synonymous for Psychopathic Records. He doesn't like. He's done some songs, but he's not like one of the artists or anything. But he's been down with Joe and Joey since they were like before ICP. It's funny. The first guy I ever met from like that camp was the Rude Boy. Way back in the day, like 50 years ago, like 15 years ago.
You're not that old,
I'm
dude.
not that old, yeah.
Not yet. Not yet.
They were at Spooky World, which was like a horror theme park that we used to have. I don't know if we still have it. I haven't heard. It moved around a little bit, and I haven't heard about it for a while.
I thought Spooky World was still going on.
I remember it was behind. They had their own setup at this point, and it was like where they had it every year. And then I think the company was sold or something. There was two partners, and one of them stepped out. And then it became like the grounds behind Foxborough Stadium for a little bit, I believe. And then I haven't heard. I know they sold a lot of stuff. Got sold. They had like a wax museum that I heard things from that got sold. But I met ICP there for the first time. I met him forever ago. And I met Rudy first. He was standing out there in the hall. I went over and talked to him. So it was cool that, you know, they get a long history, you know. And, you know, Rudy is probably more of a wrestler than with the music, you know what I mean? Because ICP grew up kind of wanting to be wrestlers first. That was the deal. But so they had a big thing. And like Noah, who was next to us, wanted blood. They're all riding around on, you know, go-karts and trucks and stuff throughout the weekend. You know, golf carts going to and from, because those hills were killing people. Back to the hills, we see Rudy came by a few times, and you know, he was pumping them up for the match, and I pretty much you could, being a wrestling fan and knowing how gimmicks go and stuff, and knowing the history of them, you had a good idea of like how it was going to unfold, and that's how it unfolded, you know, and it was good. It was funny because nobody really leaked that out. Like other things got leaked out, but nobody really leaked out what happened. So you had to kind of be there to know who won. Yeah. So I won't go into who won, but I'll say that it was blood was shed. You know what I mean? And it got hot. Let's say it got hot towards the end. You know what I mean? But it was good. It was a good turnout. The crowd got a little rambunctious, which was. I don't know. I felt like the crowd getting a little rambunctious for the wrestling show was kind of a unfortunate thing, because they were throwing stuff, and you know the ring gets wet and stuff like that from drinks, and now the performers can't exactly, you know, do the stunts and tricks that they want to do, because they could slip and get hurt. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I felt like with that was a little upsetting about it, but everything else was pretty good. You know what I mean? The matches were good. And it was fun to see that. It was the first time I ever seen like a JCW event in person, so that was nice. I have all the VHSs from the past. Did you pop over for some of the wrestling?
I saw some of the wrestling. The ones I saw. I have to admit,
Did you go over for the woman in wrestling thing?
I wanted to, but no, I missed that.
You weren't Me Tooing?
Huh?
You weren't supporting Me Tooing?
What? Pretty much, I gotta say, I spent a lot of the time at the booth. I did get out when I could, but a lot of times I was there.
I tried to stay in there, yeah.
Well, there was
a lot of people coming through, so we tried to stay there as much as we could. Yeah. Branch out from time to time, get some fresh air, see a cool event. Like the Gilbert thing is something with me and Alex. We both definitely wanted to be at when the time came. So luckily enough, we had the people that were with us watch our booths. Yeah. And they were really great. Our neighbors were super cool. Yeah. Really, really cool people.
I gotta say, one of the things about that week was I kind of went back in time almost.
Yeah.
Yep, I went back. There
was a time machine there.
Yep,
I didn't see that.
I went through time machine.
Yeah.
To the great old days of Boy Scouts.
Really?
Yep. Because we really roughed it. We went old school.
Well, we're usually used to the luxury, the good life.
Yeah.
So we wanted
we usually sleep in, like silk beds and,
feathers, just feathers upon feathers.
But we slept in the booth the
We
entire
slept in the
week.
booth, and it wasn't even because of trust issues. It was because of comfort. We wanted to go for absolute comfort.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
There's nothing that's better for the back than the hard ground.
Straighten your spine out for you.
Oh yeah, that's better than any chiropractor ever could do for your spine.
Your body gets spoiled with the curve of the bed.
Yeah.
It's not good for you.
So
every now and then you need to sleep outside. Yeah. But
Yeah.
that was good.
Gotta go old school.
Luckily it was 24-hour event, so we didn't get, much sleep time anyways.
That's true.
It was a 24-hour party. But it was cool because it did slow. There was like 4 or 5 hours that it like slowed down, that we'd grab some sleep, and the energy of it kind of kept. I can at least speak for myself. It kind of kept me up. Like I wasn't, you'd have your certain times when you'd get tired, but for the most part, I wasn't like zombie dragging through it. I seen the Hawk fall asleep at the table a couple times.
He's stronger than me. I'm sorry, but I have to say, unfortunately, I can't pull the all nighters like I used to back as a younger man. I'm getting too old for the all nighters, especially what was it, like 4 nights in a row.
Yeah,
it started
maybe
really.
5.
Yeah, it started really taking the toll on me, but when I could, I went got some sleep. But like I said, I mean, and the great thing, I have to admit, I have to give them a lot of credit, is that the booths, you had, nice sized tents, you had electricity, and you had 2 tables to put your stuff on. You could have like one table to put like all the stuff you're selling, and the back table you can use that for selling, or like in our case, we used it for a lot of like setting things up.
Yeah.
So it was nice because we had everything we really needed to do what we came there to do.
Mm-hmm. That is true. That is true. There was a lot of cool people coming around. We sold a lot of DVDs and some Blu-rays even, which was nice. That was cool. Yes. Met a lot of cool people. Gave out some stuff for free. Did a nice raffle, which was nice.
Yeah.
We were helping the people around us. It was funny because everybody was kind of helping each other. It was a really cool environment. You know what I mean? We'll start with the music of the second day.
Okay.
Since we talked about us sleeping on the ground. So we slept on the ground, and then we woke up.
Yes.
And the next day, a lot of the day is just kind of, it was blended together. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of the same stuff, so to speak, just different music. We're at the booth, a bunch of people coming through. Got the music right behind us and stuff, picking up some of that. Going around to other people's merch booths. We didn't really venture. I did a walk around. I went to the bottom of the hill and I kind of hooked around there. One of the days, there was like a hot chicken and clout biscuits party that I think some people were getting down on. I know a dude named CPN who's like a YouTube personality guy, has a podcast, and Rocks TV, I think, was a part of it. Maybe I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm not fully versed in like all the media outlets of the Juggalo world, but there was a couple. There was like a yacht party that was going on.
Yeah.
As well, like a Juggalo Yacht Club. The people that did the big Money Hustle party, screening rather, was like another group. I should probably have written all these people's names down. But for the most part, like, we traveled throughout some of the parties that we could get to and stuff, and everybody was super cool. That Big Money Hustler thing was a really cool event. That was fun. I like how they have the movie set up. Maybe we can try and get some movies going sometime. when we returned. I'd like to go back. It was good times.
Yeah.
So the next day, the first artist up was a guy named Gorilla Pimp, which was cool. He was like an underground rapper. And then there was a group named Skylar. A lot of the music would blend together. Because, you would just, there was background music. Would just kind of step out and take a peek whenever there was somebody like, that we were hoping to see type deal. We got a Butcher Babies was a band that played. I'm trying to think of the bands. I know there was a group called the Suicide Boys. My cousin was a fan of them. He told me I should check into them. They're kind of like a newer hip hop type thing. There's like an emo hip hop type thing that's really big right now in like the underground. Probably mainstream too. I don't really get too much into the mainstream hip hop thing, but they were playing, and who else was there? There was a group called City Morgue that I listened to that was like newer age hip hop that was really cool, and there was Odd Family, this group that was really cool. Did you go down and see any of that freak show? That was in the tent.
Actually, I did go down to the freak show, and I did see one thing. They were doing a competition.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was pretty much like a costume contest. It was just a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of people doing different things, and a lot of people just having fun. Yeah,
which is a good thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean that's why we won, right? Right.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Whoop, whoop.
There was something else down there, down at the end bottom of that hill that I think you got some T-shirts from or something, something like that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, there was some lovely ladies that were putting on shows that went down and showed my support.
Hawk was hanging with the Busey brother, Mike Busey, I think. Yeah. What was the full name of the show? Mike Busey's.
Mike Busey's. Damn, I forget the rest of it, but he had some lovely ladies that came down to put on shows, and it was a lot of fun to watch.
I heard that it was good times.
Yeah, it was good times.
Okay. The next up was the Supervillains.
Yeah.
Which is from the pendant.
The pendant.
The official gathering pendant.
Yeah.
Because it's a super group of ICP and Isham. Isham the Unholy. He's kind of the guy who created the style of termed the wicked shit, which is like the style of music that they do, kind of like a horrorcore type thing. You know what I mean? But its own thing. So it's a super group of those three people. There was a fourth member too, but he wasn't there. Which it was really good to see a lot of these songs live. They just released it like a greatest hits type album of all the mixtures of the different compilation songs that were on compilations, as well as like each other's tracks and stuff like that. That was it was fun to see that. That was a really good show. Always a pleasure to see like the originators of it up there doing it, which was cool. We also seen, I don't think you've seen it, but the ICP did a panel every year. They do panels, and I popped in there for their panel to see what was going to be coming up, and they did like a surprise. What was it? Basement Cuts, I think. Dog Beats. They did the Dog Beats. Yeah, I was out of my mind for a second there. They did a surprise. They did the whole Dog Beats album. And then Trey Pound, who's Shaggy's brother, who's another rapper. I guess he did it with them. That was cool. It was good to see that. That was kind of a historic thing because you never really see that. Those two things. That's why that popped in my head, because those two things are things you don't really see because Supervillains doesn't tour, so you're not going to see that.
Yeah.
And they're not going to tour the full album. You know what I mean? Of Dog Beats. So that was cool stuff. Let me try and think here. Do you remember the kid that came by the booth with the cut up arm?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I forget.
Yeah.
I forget. I was trying to find him on the Facebook on the gathering page because I was wanting to make sure he made it home alive. But this dude did like they were doing a competition or something, which is probably the craziest thing I've seen at the gathering. But they were doing a competition, and everybody was doing like weird things. I think it was for. There's a new show. It's on MTV. It's like Jackass, but it's not. I forget. I don't. I haven't watched MTV in like 20 years, so I couldn't tell you what the name of the show was. But if for anybody that watches weirdo stuff online, there's a video, very famous video of a kid who wraps himself up in fireworks, and
Oh
then he
yeah.
lights himself on fire.
Oh yeah, the big
The
heavy
big
set
heavy
guy.
set kid,
Yeah,
Zach. His name's Zach.
yeah. He also did. He like was on like a skateboard and then went into like a whole bunch of cactus.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
That group was there, and I think that I originally thought that it happened at the Wolfpack show because they were doing a variety show thing throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I thought it was there, but then I think I later found out that I think it was this because when I talked to the kid, he was like, he didn't know what happened. Like he couldn't even tell me where he came from. We just came from the medics, which was crazy. But yeah, so the story with that is that for a T-shirt, I think he got a T-shirt or something. They wanted to try and weed whack a tattoo off of his chest. Yeah, and they were unsuccessful with it. But I remember when I walked up, he was in the booth next to us. When I walked up to him, he was like all bandaged up right here, and his he had like slices on his shoulder and stuff, and yeah, he told me the whole story. Just young kid being, doing kid things. But yeah, hopefully you're okay out there, bud. If you see this, so yeah, that was extreme. What was the most extreme thing you've seen at the gathering?
I think that would probably be the most extreme thing that I
That's
saw.
it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I unfortunately, I mean, I wish I ventured out more, but I mean, I pretty much stayed within the general area of the the bazaar and of course the two stages, because I mean, as we said before, I mean, going anywhere. I mean, for example, like the place where you go and take a shower was a good like what 2 miles away walking. So I
What
mean,
the shower?
hmm?
What the shower, man? We learned the baby wipe technique. Noah taught us
Yes,
the baby wipe
yes,
technique.
we used the baby wipe technique. That was yeah. To get anywhere was quite a hike. So I mean, for the most, I mean, I stayed by the booth and walked around. It was great meeting a lot of people. Um, and I think the best part was the fact that I mean, we've gone to conventions, we've gone to different things, selling our DVDs and all that. And I would say probably at the gathering is the only time that we experience people actually excited about what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, at conventions, I mean, you'll get people coming up that are, they're interested or and all that, but a lot of times they just, glance and they walk by. But I mean, even if someone wasn't going to buy something from us, they would stop and chat about, you know, their likes, the dislikes, what kind of music, movies that they like, what they're looking for, and it was a nice conversation. So it was a really nice experience back and forth with everyone there, because you got to meet such a great variety of people from all walks of life that just love the creative element. And I mean, that was the best part, I thought, because sitting down and talking to people and trying and getting a common ground on things.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't think that they should be labeled a gang?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I mean, there's my biggest problem is that I think we as a society have this need to label whether it's people, whether it's groups. And the easiest way to label anyone is what we want. We don't want to think. We don't want to sit down and be like, well, they're not doing any harm. They're just people that enjoy a certain type of music. They enjoy a certain type of style and creativity. And they're like, well, they always wear like these kind of clothes. They do the face paint, and they have their own little lingo. So of course they must be a gang. Of course they must be up to something nefarious. But it's like, I mean, if you go to any of these gatherings, I mean, it's just, I mean, the thing about ICP music, whether you like it or dislike it, the whole point I find is giving kind of voice to those that feel marginalized, that feel like they're not part of society, that people have turned their back on, that society as a whole really doesn't care. And I got news for you. That's about a good chunk of our population. And that's why there's a lot of unrest, because there's a lot of people that, for whatever reason, people just, like, oh, they're this type of person, so, who cares about them? And the gathering is a perfect place for people that feel like they don't fit any kind of mold or any kind of group. And it's funny because, I mean, you got people that, for example, not picking on any specific group, but like when I was in school, you have like the goth kids, and the goth kids says, well, we're living this way, we doing this because we want to be, outside of society, show them
Right.
our individuality, but by doing that, you are becoming a less of individual with another group of people. I mean, whether I mean, if you want to be an individual, if you become like pretty much mold your personality to fit another group, you're still losing your individuality, whether you are one group or another. But I mean, with the way I see with the Juggalos and all that, they like the same things. Yeah, they get up, they do, but everyone for the most part is like, I'm Jim. I like this music. I come here and I dress this way, and but they don't put on airs like, oh, because I'm ICP, I have to have the face paint. Otherwise I'm not a true ICP fan. You're not a true ICP fan if you don't have the face paint. Which, I mean, honestly, I rarely saw anyone with the face paint.
Yeah, I will say that the face paint's gone down a little bit since the last time.
Yeah.
It was my first gathering as well as Alex's.
Yeah.
But I've gone to shows forever. Yeah, I was surprised that I the lack of face paint that I seen. But it was hot, so maybe it would just melt off anyways.
Yeah. And the amazing thing about Indiana was it was hot during the day and it was cold at night.
Well, it was still pretty humid at night. It was so hot the first night I laid on the ground thinking I was dying of heat stroke.
But luckily he didn't.
But I woke up. So.
Yeah, he woke up, so we knew
we had to do this episode.
Yeah.
So I came back.
He came back just for you guys.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's as I said before, I mean, they're fans of this group that have kind of found, I mean, it's the same as, I mean, talking to our friends, they always go to conventions, and they always talk about, the people they meet through the conventions as their second family. Okay? The gathering, the Juggalo experience is the same thing. It's those who don't, either they looking for another family, or they're just looking for people to accept them for who they are, and trying to label a gang, try to make it a nefarious. I mean, to be perfectly honest, yeah, you were there. You had some people that got in arguments and all that, but for the most part, no one was doing anything. No one was beating anyone up, and no one was trying to force anyone to do anything.
But yeah, I only heard one argument, and it was over. It was like a girl thing with two guys were arguing over a girl, I think.
Yeah, and
Which you'll get anywhere.
Yeah, you get that anywhere, and I mean, one out of how many people were probably there?
Like, I think they said it was like 6,000 or 7,000.
Yeah, I mean, there was an incident where people were driving around in their go karts and
Golf cart.
Yeah, golf cart, and they accidentally hit this one guy, and of course he was pissed that he got hurt, and
that was an interesting thing.
He took his drink and he just threw it on the ground, and he stormed off. Now
he ruined perfectly good Fago.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is that almost anywhere else, that guy would turn around like, hey, watch where you're going, who you think you are, and then there'll be a beef going back. But he was pissed that he got hurt and all that, but he just walked away. He didn't turn around and try to confront them. There wasn't He
was vocal of his unhappiness.
Yeah, he was vocal with his.
But I don't blame him.
Yeah,
and the people that hit him were like, for first they were horrified, then they were like kind of dickheads, I guess. I don't know. Like, they never said sorry to the dude. They probably should have said sorry and like made sure the dude didn't break his foot. But they were. It wasn't any of the guests or artists. It was just like two people that stole a fucking go-kart or whatever. You got me saying go-kart. Golf cart.
Golf cart.
Because the people on the golf carts were a mixture of people that work for the label and the event, as well as of different caliber of the event, anywhere from staff all the way up to the artists. And then there was people that just had, like, you can buy special sites with the access to golf carts and stuff like that. So it was just like some regular juggalos rolling around there. Yeah, but they probably should have checked on the dude to make sure he's all right. And understandably, the dude was pissed. He was a big guy, and he got super pissed, rightfully so. But they should have said, maybe even offered the dude a ride to wherever he was going, since you're in a golf cart, But yeah, for the most part, everybody was cool to each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was a really good vibe. Everybody who came by the booth was super cool with us. If they bought something or not, just shooting the shit with them, talking about how they're doing and what they like for film and all that good stuff. And it was cool. It was cool. It was fun. Handed out a lot of cards and stuff. And when I got back, I had a lot of juggalos hitting me up on Facebook, which was nice. We got a lot of likes on the page, which is cool. So hopefully they'll be watching this video and enjoy this video. Yeah. Talking to you watching it right now.
You right now, right there.
Chado.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop. So, yeah. So that was cool. The next day we'll talk about music. Whitney Payton, who's kind of big in the underground scene, I think, female rapper. She did good. She was doing, doing her thing. There was another rapper that works for Psychopathic, Light. I don't know if he's a part of Psychopathic or what. I think they've minimized their roster a little bit. But, Light was good. He's kind of like the yin and the yang of the Ouija Mac rapper, where it's like these two newer age Juggalo rappers that are with the hatchet, that are like, one of them's kind of more of a clean cut, I don't know, I guess, clean cut kid, and the other one's more of a wild, you got the crazy hair and, more colorful.
Yeah.
We'll do it like that. One of them's more a regular kid, just walk by on the street, and the other one's more animated. But those two dudes are kind of like, I assume to be the future of the wicked shit. Or of the Juggalo music, the future of, I think I don't know if they're on Psychopathic Records or not, but they're linked. They are linked. After Light was the godfather of it all, Isham. He was doing his solo set. That was good. I seen Isham perform in Boston like 10 years ago, I think at Harper's Ferry in Alston, I think it is. He did a club back when I was shooting shows for a dude named Leeds in the city. Isham was coming around, and I wanted to check out that show. Now, it was the only show I went to as like just a spectator and not like shooting. So I wanted to see him perform. But it was cool because we got to see him in that little small club, and then we got to see him at the Gathering, which is a gigantic event with a whole bunch of people there. So that was cool. Always good to see Isham. And then there's a dude named Ghost Main, who's more of like that newer age kind of like emo rap, which I'm sure they hate the name emo rap, and it probably I should find another term for it, but that's kind of like a sad rap type deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know the style, yeah. I guess it's better than saying wine rap. You wine all the time. But that was good. The best emo, there's a rapper named Cage, who's actually the best. He's the dude who like created that whole emo rap movement. He used to do like thug drug rap back in the early 2000s, which was really good, and then he kind of morphed. It's funny because Eminem back in the day, Eminem and him had a beef. Eminem had beef with the Clowns too, but he had a beef with Cage, and it was a lot of it was because stealing his style, and Eminem of course got a lot bigger than Cage. And then Eminem changed up his style after, and then like Cage changed up his style to like a more emo rap, almost like Rocky, you know what I mean, like mix. And then Eminem changed up his style to be kind of like that too. So it's weird. It's just a weird. So Cage has reason to be depressed if the biggest rapper in the world is stealing everything you do.
Yeah.
But that Ghost Main dude, I mean, everybody did a good performance, and even if I don't get down with the music, I could bob my head and listen from the booth. After Ghost Main was legendary Bone Thugs-n-Harmony, which was really cool to see them just perform, you know what I mean? That's one of those bands or groups rather, that I probably wouldn't just go to a show, you know what I mean, of them coming around, but I was happy that I got to see them perform and, check it off my list of acts that I've seen. After Bone Thugs-n-Harmony was a guy named Tech-9, who's monstrously big in the Juggalo world. You know what I mean? He headlined that night. That was a really good show. It was him and his boy Chris Calico up there doing it. Big crowd. They love that. Tech-9's probably like the equivalent to, he's like ICP but for a different label. You know what I mean? Like the Juggalos embraced him and kind of, lift them up, you know what I mean? So yeah, they were loving that, and that was really cool. Trying to think, there was that night was kind of like a weird blur. Like I remember that one for some reason had like, I don't know, that night was like, I felt like there was a lot of people walking around. It had kind of it'd be weird to say circusy because there was no circus like feel, but it was just like, I don't know, there's a lot of people walking around with like lights and stuff that night. I remember for some reason. But yeah, do you remember any of those bands? No.
Hey, like I told you, man. I mean, I unfortunately didn't get to see a lot of them.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, one of the fun things, interesting things about the experience was all the fireworks that kept on going.
Oh man, I remember I made a comment to the Hawkman at one point that it was like Vietnam because we'd be trying to sleep and it'd be
well, it wasn't just that. It was during the day when you couldn't see the fireworks. They were setting them off still. I mean, it was like ever so often, you'd be turning around and then you hear the pop. And I joked around with Matt about saying, it's starting to feel like I'm starting to have like PTSD symptoms here.
Yeah. It was a weird thing. I remember the first night we were there, I remember the idea of a hotel came up, because we were gonna try and tough it out. But I remember it was just like I remember laying on the ground, feel like I was gonna die from heat stroke, and just like every like 3 minutes,
Boom!
boom,
Boom!
and
Yeah.
just being like, maybe we should reconsider a hotel. Maybe we should get a hotel.
Well, I promise you from the bottom of my heart that neither one of us got a hotel that week.
You better believe that.
Yeah, we toughed it out.
We're the ultimate warriors. We're the ultimate maniacs. We don't need no hotels.
We came out and played.
But I did. I brought something with us that was very helpful. At least helped me sleep. I don't know about you.
Melatonin?
No, I brought that though too. The earplugs.
Oh yes, the earplugs.
Without the earplugs, I wouldn't have been able to survive.
Yeah, without the earplugs, I don't think any of us would have gotten any sleep. But yeah, I mean, it was interesting. It was like I said, it was a kind of a flashback to the old days of scouting, sleeping. You know, of course, at those days, I had a tent that I had the sleeping bag.
We had a tent.
Yeah, well, a sleeping bag and all that. But
we
luckily,
had a sleeping bag.
You had the sleeping bag.
I told you could use it too. We didn't sleep at the same time. We never slept at the same time. Unless we were making love.
Oh, lucky you.
I'm talking about with you. Crazy.
But anyway, one of the things I did do, as I showed earlier, I did pick up this wonderful pillow, which did save my life. It was nice and comfortable. I definitely and that was a good thing, better than the rock that I had earlier.
So he had the luxury of the pillow. I didn't get the pillow. There was the pillow, and then there was the sleeping bag.
He got a sleeping bag. I got the pillow.
Well, you could have used the sleeping bag.
Then. Yeah.
But yeah, so and then we'll go into the next list of bands. We had the Dropout Kings. That was a band. They were good. That was a good deal. Big Hoodoo, another one of the Psychopathic Records artists in there. I think he's probably one of my favorite artists outside of ICP that are on the label. I think he's out of the new dudes. I think he's one of the better rappers for sure. A list just came out recently of all the best rappers, all the Juggalo rappers, and he didn't make the list of 50, which I thought was crazy because I think he's really really talented dude. That Cage rapper I don't think made that list either, which he should because he's super talented and influential, and a lot of people steal his flow in the Juggalo world. All those emo rappers steal Cage's flow.
That's not cool.
That's not cool.
That ain't
cool. Followed up by Mushroom Head. Very big, heavy band. That it was good to see them. They put on a really good show. They're rocking Horde. You know what I mean? Anybody Killer. ABK, he performed. Got to see ABK the first night that I was there, actually. I was going to get one of those glorious foot-long corn dogs. And I seen ABK up there getting some food, too. I talked to him for a little bit. Not too long, because he was eating his dinner, and I find it weird to, talk to somebody while they're eating their dinner. You know what I mean? It's like...
Can I have your autograph?
Well, I'm not an autograph guy, but I would have got a pic. But it was just I'm a believer in fate. So if I'm meant to have a picture or whatever, the opportunity will prevent what was it?
Present itself.
Yeah. But yeah, ABK killed it as usual. That was really cool. He's like a staple in the Juggalo world to have at a gathering. Followed up by a group that I was very excited to see. When I heard they were going to perform, I was very happy because back when I used to shoot a lot of underground hip-hop shows in the city up in Boston, he's the one underground rapper that never came through that I always wanted to kind of meet, which was Vinny Paz of Jedi Mind Tricks. He got up there and did it, which was really cool. Esoteric, who's a Boston rapper, went with him. It was kind of like his hype man, and I seen him at the booth. We had somebody at the booth, and I looked over and I seen Esoteric, and then I finished talking to the person at the booth, and then I was gonna roll over and get a picture with him and say hi or whatever because he's another Boston guy. But by the time the person left our booth, that I wasn't gonna just be like, hey, wait a second, you know what I mean, and leave.
Yeah.
He was already gone. But yeah, that cool. The Jedi Mind Trick set was really, really cool. Hoping that they bring them back again, which I'm sure they will. There's so many you can do, like a heavy metal king set, which is like Vinny Paz, Ill Bill, and Gore-Tex is kind of like an unofficial member of the group. All three of them, dope. They could bring them in, so I'm sure they'll eventually. They're always into bringing in cool underground acts. You know what I mean? That's what the Gathering, they bring in cool underground acts, and they bring in like groups from yesterday's past that did like big hits, and the people either love those songs or love the whole body of work that artist does. That's what's really cool about it, because you're not just going to get one style, like I said earlier. After that is the next group. The next group is another group that I was even more excited to see than Jedi Mind Tricks, which would be the Ghetto Boys.
The Ghetto Boys.
Even though, unfortunately, I love, they're the creators of that like super gangsta music. And Bushwick Bill passed away, I think like a month prior to the Gathering or so. It was cool. His son was there, and Bushwick's manager was there. He came by. I got to meet him. He was cool. I know there's a documentary that Bushwick Bill's son made that is going around a little bit. Me and him were talking about it. But the Ghetto Boys set was really good. They're older gentlemen, but they got up there. Same thing with like Morris Day and the Time. They're older gentlemen, but those two acts were some of the best, performances of the Gathering. You know what I mean? They really schooled it. But yeah, the Ghetto Boys, that was a legendary thing. All the hits, they played all the hits, and it was just a really good set. I wish there was kind of a where place we could have met them. That would have been legendary. But it was cool just meeting Bushwick's son. Yeah. Rest in peace, Bushwick Bill. After that was the big headliners, your boys, the Insane Clown Posse themselves.
Oh yeah.
Which I must say, as a person who's seen ICP maybe like 12 times, I think that was the best ICP set I've ever seen. They touched a little bit on everything, you know what I mean? From the first album all the way up, even pre-first album, and do a couple of jams off of just about everything all the way up. It was good. It was a good. They pulled some tracks out that you usually hear every time, which was fun. Like Chicken Hunting, they didn't play usually every time you go to a show. You always like a staple track. So it was like it was fun. Not to say it was fun not to hear it, but it was fun to see. It was fun for the mix. Mixing it up a little bit was cool. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. What'd you think of the ICP? So I don't think you really got into it, right? You were at the booth.
Well, I mean, I was at the booth, but I did listen to it, and I mean, I like it. I mean, like I said, I know I'm a newer fan to the music, but they hit a lot of songs that Matt had given to me to listen to, and they had such a great presence and stage show and all that even if you weren't a fan originally of the music, it'll just draw you in. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, their stage show is kind of unmatched. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've seen a lot of people perform that do theatrics and don't do theatrics, and even the people that do theatrics, I've never seen anybody kind of match ICP with the show. Was there anything there that you didn't get to see that wanted to see? Because I know, like, there was a Bruce Brothers, which was Rob, our boy Jumpsteady there. He performed too, which I wanted to see. I didn't get a chance to pop over and see, unfortunately. That was at the bottom of the hill. That was at the Cannibal House stage. Yeah. But him and Violent J did a panel one of the nights late, I think at like 3 a.m, which was like a Men in Black type seminar where they were talking about alien stuff and such like that, which I love. You know what I mean?
Well,
I'm a big fan.
Can't beat that. It's always fun talking about, what could be possibly out there.
Out there.
Out there. The truth is out there.
That's what they say.
That is what they say.
Those are my things that it was unfortunate. I missed them, but there'll be another day, and I can't find them on YouTube. I was hoping to be able to find the seminar on YouTube. Anything you missed out that you wanted to see, or?
No, not really. I mean, like I said, this was a new experience for me, and it was a lot of fun just meeting the different people and talking about, where they're from, their likes, their dislikes, and just the feeling of the creative well that was with us, with everyone. I mean, it was a lot of fun seeing the different art, different music, and meeting everyone from all around. And I mean, I met one guy from Australia. I met another guy from UK. I mean, they had people from all over the place, and it was nice meeting them and talking to them about stuff.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, they're very down to earth people, just kind of looking to belong and have a good time and have fun. You know what I mean? Like Hawk was saying earlier. Yeah. So yeah, we hope to go back again. It was a lot of fun. People are really great. Yeah, they get a bad rap. But yeah, I'd say it was a success.
Yeah,
a success story. Trying to think if there's anything else we should add to it. We have any weird issues coming back or anything?
Not really. I mean, things were a little tight getting to the airplane, but we all made it on time, and we made it back safely. I mean, otherwise we we died. We're ghosts. We're ghosts right now.
We're ghosts.
But yeah, I mean, it was definitely a great experience that I will treasure, and hopefully next year we'll do it again. I liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah, definitely would love to go back and and do it again.
ICP. I just heard ICP is performing at Rock and Shock.
Yeah, I just heard that like yesterday. It just. Yeah, I mean, I was like, that's awesome, especially since we're going to Rock and Shock.
Yeah, I remember when Rock and Shock first started, which is pushing 20 years itself pretty soon. I remember ICP, the first couple of years, ICP actually played it, which was really cool. They played one of the nights. I think it was usually Sunday night. Then they stopped for a little bit, and they had another group come in that was like kind of ICP-like, you know what I mean? That was part of their label for a little bit. But yeah, I'm glad to see ICP's back, because it's always good to see them. It's always a good time. Yeah, they put on a great show. I mean, if you don't like the music, but you're looking for a good time, I'd always say go check them out, because you'll get pulled in even if you don't want to. It's hard not to,
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I think that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, just going back with Rocket Shock, like I said, we're going to be there. The 11th, 12th, and 13th of October in Worcester at the Palladium.
Yeah. We also got the Undo Divergent Film Festival coming up this week, September 7th, Saturday from 3 to 9 p.m. At the Capitol Theater in Arlington, Mass. If anybody's interested, if you're watching this, you probably are linked to either me or Alexander on Facebook, or you could I think you can message us on the YouTube if you were that die hard to get the info. But this coming Saturday, a lot of really cool indie films from all over the world.
Oh yeah.
Some high budgeted stuff. You know what I mean? It's a good mixture. Some classy independent film. You know what I mean? We'll be announcing some stuff. Probably announcing what movies we're playing soon. I know that we got a lot of good stuff going. But yeah, tickets are $20. It's 6 hours worth of independent film, and with some like-minded individuals, you could enjoy that and have fun.
Heck yeah.
I know we got a couple. I just did the Boston Fan Expo the other day. That was a lot of fun. to meet some Boy Meets World people. I like that.
Yeah, he got to
Boy
meet
Meets World,
Mr. Feeney, right?
Mr. Feeney was a nice guy, and Corey Matthews was a nice guy. Yeah, it was a good. I wanted to meet Corey Feldman, but he was never at his booth when I wanted to. I was gonna meet. I don't like to pay for autographs, so I just go through the line to meet people and say hi. And so some people weren't down with that this time around either. They were doing some Jason Momoa bullshit, but that's their loss, right?
Yeah, I mean, come on. A handshake from this man is greater than all the money you can make doing autographs.
I'm on a list now at all conventions not to give free handshakes to.
Don't give a free handshake to him. No.
But we'll be pressing it up. BoomBastiCAST will be pressing it up at we got Super Mega Fest is coming up.
Yep.
And Rock and Shock will be at Rock and Shock.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna be at ScareCon in Rochester,
New York, which is actually the weekend after Rock and Shock.
Yeah, and there's some other stuff. I know we're gonna be appearing at a film festival up in Taunton, I think.
Oh yeah.
In November. Late November, I think, or mid-November.
Yeah.
We'll have more details on that at another time. We'll let everybody know. But, yeah. I think that's, let me see. We're working on a new short that we got coming up. Yeah, just keeping it going.
Okay.
But, yeah, the Gathering of the Juggalos, 2019 20th Annual Super Gathering was a super great time. Thank everybody. We thank everybody that, came by to see us, whether we talked, whether you bought something, support comes in many ways. Thanks to everybody at, the event that brought us in and, welcomed us in to join the kind of the family, which was nice. We appreciate you to the fullest. And thank you so much. Yeah. And yeah, we hope to see everybody next year. I know we've already been asked if we're going to be coming back next year. And we hope to. And that's the plan, Stan. So we'll see how it goes. And enjoy yourselves. And we'll see you next time. The BoomBastiCAST.
Peace.
Peace.